In this guide, I'm covering advanced crystal PvP mechanics that the best players in the world are using right now. Whether you're low tier 5 to high tier 3, I can guarantee you'll learn something new in this video. This guide isn't beginner friendly, so if you're looking to improve, I'm going to be leaving 2 very useful guides in the description. On another note, this isn't a guide on how to play the game, but simply how to do advanced mechanics in today's meta. But with that out of the way, let's get into the video. After each mechanic, I will be ranking it on a scale of 1 to 10 of how hard it is and then how useful it is in game. The first mechanic is called Expo carding. This technique is performed when first placing a rail, lighting the block behind it with a flint and steel, placing a TNT minecart, and then finally shooting a crossbow directly through the fire, hitting the TNT minecart. This requires you to execute 4 binds extremely fast and precisely. The only time you're using an Expo cart in crystal PvP is when your opponent is cobwebbed countering a mace attack. You can then perform an Expo cart to get a free pop or kill. Difficulty 7 out of 10, usability in-game 5 out of 10. It is a nice and flashy technique, but you're only performing this in a specific scenario, unless you're Marlo. Next is the Ely-Stun Slam. This is performed when you elytra into the air and your opponent raises their shield. You then perform a stun slam to disable their shield and pop them with lightning speed. This is extremely hard to do and what Marlo mastered becomes so deadly in the air, but if learned, it can make your drain fight so much easier. Yo! Difficulty 10 out of 10, usability in-game 9 out of 10. While this is a very useful thing to learn, there's a reason why only one person in the entire tier list does it. Next up, we have air placing. How you do this is by first placing an anchor, and then you blow it up with an anchor in your hand, double clicking, like this. In order to double pop your opponent, however, they need to take a damage tick from your sword. Difficulty 8 out of 10, usability in-game 8 out of 10. This is really good if you're trying to catch your enemy off guard, but it takes a lot of time to learn and isn't very consistent. Alright, enough with the really hard stuff. Let's dive into something a lot simpler to learn. This is what I call the Thebes anchor. Hit your opponent into the air, place 1 crystal, 1 anchor, blow it up to double pop your opponent. This opens up more chances to then ledge and chain your opponent. Difficulty 4 out of 10, usability in-game 7 out of 10. Very underrated technique, but if you're in the habit of D-tapping, this might take some time to learn. Keeping up with the theme of simple, let's talk about the hit pearl D-tap. In order to execute this, you're going to want to be about 8 to 10 blocks away from your opponent. Then, pearl on them while spamming your sword. This will almost always hit them into the air, which then you can perform a D-tap. This always works if you have the right distance. Alternatively, if you're playing double blast prod, you can do everything as told, but when your opponent is falling down, you place an anchor like this. Difficulty 6 out of 10, usability in-game 8 out of 10. Very useful in all types of fights, but it can take some time to understand distance and timing. Getting a little more advanced again, we're going into anchor timing. Most people believe the faster you click, the better your anchors are, but this isn't necessarily true. What a lot of people don't take into consideration is the timing of your anchors. This is how you see anchor chains from players like Avanti. Although he doesn't have the fastest anchors, his timing is almost perfect. Let's quickly take a look on how he does this. From all of Avanti's clips, you can see that every time before he starts an anchor chain, he takes a damage tick, whether that's from a D-tap or a safe anchor. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to get too technical, but to oversimplify it, you're going to want to start your anchor chains like this, or like this. Keep in mind that speed and toteming play a very big role as well. Difficulty 7 out of 10, usability in-game 7 out of 10. Anchor chains are some of the most satisfying kills to get and are very fun to do, but most of the time you end up popping yourself the same amount as your opponent. Before we continue, I'd like to ask if you could like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. Let me know in the comments if I missed any of your favorite mechanics. Next up, we have the axe stun D-tap. Contrary to popular belief, this is one of the more easier mechanics to perform. When your opponent is shielding, hit them with your axe and then quickly switch over to your sword and hit them again. And whilst they are in the air, immediately perform a D-tap. Slow falling and double clicking are optional steps that increase success rate. Difficulty 6 out of 10, usability in-game 6 out of 10. There's only one caveat. Axe stunning must be enabled on your practice server. This next mechanic uses the mace. How most people mace is by going in the air, taking off the elytra, putting it back on, and then macing. But this technique completely removes the taking off elytra part from the equation. This makes it so your elytra macing is so much faster, but this sacrifices the perspective of your opponent. Marlo explains this really well right here, so pause it if you want to read it. Difficulty 5 out of 10, usability 7 out of 10. Really good to use in Drain, but it could take some time to master. Last but not least, I'm going to be teaching you how to triple tap. In order to do this, you're going to want your opponent cornered to a wall. Then, hit crystal them once, and whilst they are in the air, hit them again and spam 2 more crystals. It should look something like this. Difficulty 7 out of 10, usability in-game 7 out of 10. Although pretty hard to do, it will kill your opponent most of the time if they don't expect it. And that's it, all the mechanics dominating today's meta. I spent a lot of time researching and editing this, so if it helped you out in any way, make sure to like and subscribe. It seriously means everything to me and pushes me to keep making content like this. I got a lot more videos planned out, so stick around. Thank you for watching this video.